Well, hello everybody. Let me just get this fixed. Oops. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Hey everybody. Happy Friday. Happy to be here with all of you. Got a really cool topic to teach today about sales conversations. And for those of you who celebrate, happy St. Patrick's Day. Boston's a big celebrator of that holiday. Oops, sorry, wrong thing. There we go. There we go. All right, there we go. So hello, everybody. I want to make sure this is, first of all, that this is actually going on live stream. So bear with me one sec. I'm just going to check and see. I think I finally got the hang of it, so which feels really, really good. And if you're here, do me a favor, please. Yep, good. It's going. Please say hello. Let me know you're there. Do a, hey, Rosalind, I see you there. Do a like, do a heart. Let me know where you're from. Let me know how your week is. All that kind of stuff. So anyways, let's dive in. You know, some of you were on my webinar yesterday, Effortless Enrollment Secrets. And I'm really, really excited about, we had amazing training. I was teaching people exactly what I say during a sales conversation. I basically gave them the script that you typically have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars for, and I gave that to everybody for free. And sorry, I feel like that guy in the BBC who had his kids come in. Well, my little girl Callie is crying, so I don't know what the heck you do, but I'm just going to go help her for one sec, because otherwise she will keep she'll keep crying. So I'll be back in 1 second, and then we can get on with this training. Oop, there you go, Callie. Oops. So now we can't laugh at the guy from the BBC. Anyways, it is what it is. But I've got some really cool things that came up as a result of yesterday, and I want to dive in with the teaching for that. So again, if you're just joining, please say hello. Please let me know who you are, where you're from, all that good stuff, because we've got a really great topic. And if the topic of sales conversations, if you like that, please click like or do the heart or something, so I know that this is important. You know, what's so interesting to you is that I see so many entrepreneurs that feel they can kind of bypass it, and what they don't realize is that, first of all, sales conversations affect everything in your business. I was just interviewed just right before this, got off the video interview just maybe 15 minutes ago, and we were talking about with people who do telesummits. I mean, you know, telesummits a great way to get your word out, to build your list, to make money, all sorts of things. But again, you still have to sell it. You know, you got to sell to get someone to be a guest in your telesummit. You've got to sell to get people to listen, and especially to get the guest, which is really huge, because that's really where it all starts. And if you're afraid of sales conversations, you're not going to likely be able to pick up the phone to ask that person to be part of your telesummit. So in so many ways this shows up, every aspect of your business and ultimately of your life, if you're not able to kind of stand forward and be able to ask for what you need. So anyway, so that's what we're talking about today. So if you're joining us, please again click like, do a heart or something, so I know that you're there, that this topic resonates. And what I'm teaching you today are what I believe are a couple of really important keys that are not really, they're like the hidden secrets, the secret ingredients for sales conversation, but I believe they're so critical for every entrepreneur to know if you want to have a successful sales conversation. And they probably are not going to be what you think they are. You know, when I did the teaching yesterday, I gave the whole sales script. I said, this is what I say first, second, third, and this is the order. I gave the strategy behind it. And again, I gave this for free. And if you missed it, you can go ahead and register. I'll give you, there's, so we go, let's see, there's the URL. So if you did miss the, oops, I'll go this way, there you go, so you can see it. So if you did miss the training, you can go ahead and register for it. So anyways, I just want to get out of the way for that. So anyways, that's a scoop for that. So I am going to do it again, so if you did miss it, I'll be teaching the script on that. So the two things I really want to teach you that are kind of secret ingredients, and it came from today. I was actually at the Apple store earlier, there's one near me, and I was returning something, and long story short, I had ordered something, and Apple, in 2 separate shipments, sent me 2 of the same item. Well, I was only supposed to get 1, I got 2, and you know, when I had a chance, which was today, I brought it over to the store and gave it back to them and all that. Now, what was really interesting is when I was talking to the manager of the store, and you were telling, like, how many people are likely to do that, you know, that are honest to say, hey, I got 2 of this thing, which is an expensive item, and bring it back. A lot of people truthfully wouldn't, and that's what she was telling me, and it kind of surprised me because I know I hear a lot of conversations about people feeling that there's a lot of lack of honesty or integrity in, you know, in a lot of the entrepreneurial world. But yet it all starts with how you show up, right, in your day-to-day action. So if you aren't willing to go do something like that, like return something you didn't get, then you're probably going to get be surrounded by some dishonesty possibly in your life. So one of the first keys I want to share with you is that it's so important to come from a place of integrity, a place of honesty when you're on your sales conversations. And I know that nobody really talks about that, and I just want to spend a minute or two sharing that, because I believe that if you're not able to show up in full integrity and about who you are, about your services, that you're already starting this relationship, however you're working with somebody, whether you're their attorney, you're their stockbroker, you're their coach, you're their photographer, whatever. If you can't show up in full integrity, you've already kind of contaminated the relationship. Does that make sense? And if you're listening, do a like. Let me know that that this is something that's resonating with you. Okay, because I think that nobody's really talking about that, and I think that it's so critical that you show up that way, that you are honest. And I just lost the page. I was supposed to, because I saw a comment, and oops, there we go. There we go. I just want to see if people are getting comments and all that, but you know, I realize nobody's talking about, they're not saying, you know, about be honest, show up with integrity on your sales conversations. And I think that is so critical, because as much as people moan and groan, I was talking to someone earlier, and she was sharing that, you know, she did all sorts of coaching programs, and she was kind of disenchanted with things and all that. And so I believe that it all starts at home, right? So that's why you got to start to make sure that you're showing up with integrity, with honesty on your conversations. Again, start that relationship off healthy. Again, whether you're doctor, lawyer, photographer, videographer, coach, graphic artist, copywriter, whatever, be honest. Be honest about who you are and your services. Okay, so does that resonate with you? Do a click or a like or a share or something. You know, and think about, are you being that way elsewhere in your life too? Because, you know, there's an expression, I heard it from T. Harv Eker years ago, but I don't know if he made it up or he got it from somewhere. It said, you know, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So if you want to see honesty and integrity and all that with people you're dealing with, you've got to also make sure you're doing that everywhere in your life too. Okay, so go ahead and think about that for a moment. Are you doing that? And I'd like to see some shares or likes or clicks. You know, I'm sure there are a lot of people who would have gotten that extra item from the Apple store, and you know, and just kept it or given it away or something, you know. And I get that. I'm not sharing my story to make me look like a saint, but just say that I have to walk my walk and talk my talk, or however that goes. That if I'm expecting people to be honest and in integrity with me, I also always have to be honest and integrity with everybody else. Okay, so I believe that's a really critical step on a sales conversation. So that's the first one I want to share with you. And again, if you're just joining, we're talking about some critical keys on sales conversations. And if you're here, do a click or a like or a heart or something, so I know you're there. Now, the second thing I want to talk about, which has to happen in all sales conversations, is that you have to be aware of your internal beliefs that are popping up. Because understand, these are the things that show up everywhere. You know, what you believe about sales. Because if you feel that it's icky, sales are icky and it's yucky and they're uncomfortable and it's lies and it's this and it's that, that's how you're going to show up in your sales conversation, right? And again, then you won't be in integrity. Because if you don't believe that it's a good thing and you do a call, there's a conflict. Does that make sense to everybody? Do a like or a share or something, so I know that this is resonating with you. And then, the same thing, that if you believe that, wow, I'm asking a lot of money for this, who'd ever pay me for that? Well, how are you going to be able to make an offer out of integrity, right? So when you think about it, if you're saying these things, how's it going to be received? And people don't realize that their energy, all that shows up. They may not physically see it, but people feel that. And think about maybe the last time when you felt that from somebody, that maybe you couldn't put your finger on it, but you were just kind of saying, something just doesn't feel right, just doesn't sit right. And maybe it's not something you could physically show, like you couldn't take a picture of it or something, but you can just feel it, that something just wasn't right. So understand that your energy, your fears, your doubts, all those kinds of things will show up on your sales conversation. So again, if you're wondering why more people aren't saying yes to you, why more people aren't raising their hand to want to work with you, what's going on inside your head? What are you saying to yourself? I was having this conversation with somebody earlier today, and she said, like, what, she goes, what are we all saying to ourselves all day long? And think about, what are all those thoughts you're saying to yourself all day long? Did you know that, and everybody will have maybe a different percentage of the stats, so you might hear 5% higher, 5% lower, whatever, just depending on who you ask, but about 75% of the thoughts you have today are the same thoughts you had yesterday, and the same thoughts you had the day before, and the day before that, and the day before that, and the same thoughts you'll have tomorrow, and the day after that, and next week, and next year, and all that. So if you wonder why you're always getting the same results, it's because you're carrying around the same thoughts all the time. So it's really, really critical to be paying attention to that. So if you're either avoiding sales conversations, which I know a lot of people do, I've had people tell me, Kate, I don't need to master sales conversations because I have a flat fee, or I have a set pricing. You're kidding, because if you have a flat fee, you're just making yourself a commodity. Okay, and again, I'm not saying there's a bad thing with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with sorry, Callie just dropped her toy under here. Again, thank you, Mr. whoever that professor was on the BBC who had his kids come in. Now it's like safe to talk about all this stuff. I guess it's open and out there. But understand that if you're charging hourly, that you have to be able to actually, in some ways, almost sell yourself more. Okay, so think about that for a moment. So let's take this box of Kleenex. See, we even call it Kleenex, right? Even though there's all different brands that make it. Now, technically, if someone just needs a box of Kleenex, and they know they could get this at Amazon, they could go to Staples, they could go to CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, Target, the supermarket, probably a zillion other places online, and they could technically shop it. And they could say, okay, the market is selling it for $1.50, and the drugstore is selling it for $1.29. Amazon has it for 99 cents. I mean, whatever. I'm going to go find the cheapest place to buy it. So all you become is a commodity. So if you think that by you having hourly pricing that you can avoid sales conversations, you're kidding yourself. In fact, you've got to be able to sell in some ways better than anybody else because you're a commodity. So what I mean by that is at CVS or the Amazon or the supermarket or Walmart, Walgreens, Target, they have to convince you why you need to buy it from them when you could buy it from 20, 30, 50 other places. So does that make sense to everybody? I'm just going to take a look here, see if there are any comments or thoughts about this, because this is really, really critical to understand. That just because you're selling hourly doesn't necessarily mean that that you don't have to do sales conversations. So again, if you're here, do a like or a share. Tell me who's here so I can say hello to you and all that. So, excuse me, take a sip. And I've also had people tell me that because they are salespeople for, let's say an insurance company, they work for an insurance company, or maybe they're a financial agent or real estate agent. They're like, hey, I don't have to know all this stuff. I don't have to deal with my own internal stuff. And it's like, yes, you do. Because again, you are a commodity, because you actually have to put people through several selling cycles. You have to sell them on the fact they actually need to hire you. So for example, a realtor, why they couldn't just sell it on their own. I mean, there's lots of people who sell houses on their own. So you've got to not only sell them on why they want to work with a realtor or broker, but then why they want to work with you, right? Because again, there's a zillion realtors out there, or a zillion financial people, or a zillion insurance people. So Just because, again, you might not be a fully fledged entrepreneur, you know, and someone that the business is your name, it doesn't mean that you still don't have to learn how to master sales. Okay, so that's really, really critical to understand. Now, the other thing to understand too is that a lot of people say, you know, they just aren't going to focus on it. And I want you to just think about it for a moment, that ultimately, no matter what you do, you can't avoid sales. All right? So if you're sitting there telling yourself it's not the right time, or it's not this, or it's not that, you're kidding yourself. Because I've had so many people come cry to me, literally cry to me over and over and over again, because they weren't having the clients or weren't having the money that they wanted. But if they're not willing to learn how to master sales, you're screwed. You're literally screwed. So who has any questions, thoughts, comments? I'd love to I'd love to answer questions. And I see Trevor, Amy is there. Hi. Hello, everybody. So for those of you who either like sales or don't like sales, what I'm saying, or let me share the two again with you in case you're just joining late. What are your thoughts? You know, the first is, for a sales conversation, you have to show up with honesty. You have to be honest and be in integrity, because that's where it all starts. And if you start a relationship off that you're not acting that way, that if you're not being in integrity, what does that say? I mean, the relationship, it's built on dishonesty. So that's the first one I want to share with you. And the second is to really start thinking about your own inner beliefs, your own thoughts, your own fears, and how they're showing up in a sales conversation, because they are definitely getting in the way of your results, right? Because how can you, if you are, let's say, an amazing health practitioner, for example, but you've got these fears and doubts, like, God, there's so many other people they could work with, or maybe someone could do it cheaper, or this or that. If you don't believe it, how in the heck can you get someone else to believe it? So I see a question. Okay, so someone asked, Trevor, Amy asked, what if a person wants to hire you but not for a few months? So here's what, and actually, I don't know if you were on my my training yesterday, so I'm going to just encourage you, if you weren't, please join. I'm going to actually do a live encore, effortlessenrollmentsecrets.com. If you go there and register, I go into all the objections and I go in great detail. But what I'll just share with you is that people will say that, right? You know, that's such a great question. You know, what if they say, yep, I'm going to hire you, but not for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year, all that other kind of stuff. But I'm going to actually put this on hold for 1 second because Callie grabbed my shoe. So I'm going to go grab my shoe back. There we go. Sorry about that. I'll come right back with your question. Like I said, I feel like the professor from the BBC who had stuff and the kids start coming in. Okay, so sorry about that, everybody. Okay, so back to the question. So people will say that, right? And what you have to, first of all, you want to discern, is it really not the right time, or is it just they're telling you not the right time? And so what I mean by that is that it really comes down to the person has to accept personal responsibility. So if you are, let's say, a weight loss coach, and the person saying that tells you that they want to lose weight, and so you've got, let's say you've got a program starting, you know, the 1st of April, and they're like, you know, yep, would love to do it, but you know what, it's not the right time because the kids are graduating, I got this, I got that, you know, well then they've got to accept personal responsibility that they're going to continue to be, whether it's 20, 30, 40, 50, 80, 200, however many pounds overweight, until they're willing to step in and start the work with you. So I always like to focus in on that, and it's the same as these sales conversations, that someone's saying, Kate, I want to really learn this from you, but you know, it's not the right time, there's other stuff going on, or I've got the kids, I got this, I got that, and you know, understand, I always tell them is that they've got to accept personal responsibility then, that they have to own the fact that they are not going to have the business that they want, they're not going to have the clients that they want, they're not going to be able to show up in a bigger way, and if they're willing to own it, then it's okay. So you really want to push back on personal responsibility, and then it's up to the person. And if it really is not the right time, then it's not the right time. You know, sometimes there really is a legitimate thing, like I just, you know, my kid's graduating in 2 months and I just got to make the priority them. You know, but then if it's the right time, let them put down a deposit. If they're just saying, I want to work with you, but it's got to be in 2 months, and let them put a deposit down to save their space. If they're really that committed, let them step into that. Maybe you can do some pre-work with them until, you know, it is the right time for them in 2 months. So that was a really good question. Who else has questions? And again, if you weren't on the training I did, I am hosting it again live. My team asked me, and I agreed because I know there were a lot of you who couldn't make the training Thursday. So I am going to be doing this next week, the beginning of next week on Tuesday. And as you all know, I don't record these trainings. So because I really, what I'm giving you is this training is something that I literally paid thousands and thousands of dollars for. If you took it, you'd have to pay thousands of dollars for if you want the sales script or I go over objections and all that kind of stuff. That I'm not just going to send it out. I expect you to actually make that commitment and show up for the call. So all you need to do, it's free training. It's just register, effortlessenrollmentsecrets.com. And when you register, you'll also get the 25 do's and don'ts that I put together. Usually I have it handy. Let me just go grab that for 1 sec, and I'll show you guys what you also get. Oops. Oops. Let's see. This is what you're going to get. I want to just show you. So when you register, when you register, you're also going to get this downloadable 25 do's and don'ts. These are the things that from my own experience as a master in sales, the things that work really, really well, I put down for you. So this is my 6+ years of experience, as well as things that kind of bombed that I did, or I've seen my clients do things that worked really terribly. So I wanted to put this together to make like a crib sheet for you, and I thought it came out so great that I actually got mine laminated, so I have it handy as well too. And I see some comments. It's going to be at noon Eastern, which is 9 a.m. Pacific on Tuesday. So I encourage you to go register, effortlessenrollmentsecrets.com. And yep, thank you. Yeah, it is a good idea. I am a master of sales. I have lots of good ideas. And Stephanie, yeah, absolutely get them to hold to their stated commitment, right? Because that's really, really critical. That people need to do, and people get used to people saying, oh, telling something like it's not the right time, or it's not this, or the stars aren't aligned, and they get it accepted. And I just think as you get more and more comfortable with sales, which is what I like to teach people how to do, that it's easier for you to then kind of push back a bit. You may not be able to do it very much in the beginning, but you do need to push back. Yep, you're going to laminate yours as well. Yeah, I thought it came out great. Like I said, I came up with them, and my web designer actually made it look really, really lovely in this infographic. And I was like, I brought it to Staples, and they did it, and now I always have it, and it's easy and all that. And you could even get one of those markers, the erasable ones, and you could like check off things as you're doing them. But I like systems. So. Anyways, I hope everybody who's listening will join me on the Encore call. It is live, just so you know. I'm not doing one of those things like record, and then just play it and you guys all show up and it's something from a week ago. This is me, so any mistakes I make are live. All the good stuff is live, and I do Q&A at the end. And I'm really kind of trying to shift the paradigm on sales conversations, because I just see too many good people who are really, really have these amazing businesses, amazing business ideas, amazing talents, and oops, here's Callie. and just that they aren't making the money, and I think I think there's that can be changed. I want to help to shift that. So that's why I'm giving away the script. I'm actually walking you through it. I'm teaching you about it, and I've got some other really cool things I'm teaching as well during that, because I'm on a mission. So who has questions? And if you guys, I would really appreciate if this is helpful, this live stream, please do the likes, the hearts. And please share it with your community too, because I want to help as many people as possible. I want to help as many people as possible, start getting more comfortable with sales. I've had people tell me, and I'm an introvert, so I'm not saying this with judgment, but just that I've done so much work around this. But I've had people tell me that they literally get sick to their stomach when they think about a sales conversation. I've had people tell me they literally want to throw up. And I want to change that, because if you feel that way, how are you going to get clients to say yes? And then you're always going to be scrambling for money. You won't have clients who want to work with you. So, yay. So Stephanie said hi to Callie. Callie would have said hi to you back, but right now she's kind of pouting a little bit because her toy's hidden. So, she's pouting a little. But, and good, Trevor, Amy, you're so excited. Good. invite your friends to come on the call as well. And again, please share this video with the Facebook Live with your friends, your community. Invite your friends to effortlessenrollmentsecrets.com. I'm really excited. I'll tell you something. It would be so much easier for me to just be having recorded it and then just keep playing the thing over and over or send out a replay. But that's not who I am. Back to honesty and integrity. Because someone said to me, okay, why don't you just record it and then play it? Or why don't you just, send out the recording? I'm like, no, that's not who I am. That's not an integrity. Now, other people want to do it. Awesome. I'm not, again, no judgment. That's who they are. But I have to stick with what feels good to me. And that's what I try to encourage all my clients is I'm not trying to remake you. I'm just trying to bring out your brilliance. Okay, so there's a big difference in that. So does anyone have any other questions? I know it's Friday evening for those of us on the East Coast and all that, but I wanted to do this quick live stream and really share a couple of important things. Like I said, be honest and come from a place of integrity in your sales conversations. That's one critical key. Second critical key, pay attention and deal with all your inner stuff, right? I can't even begin to tell. That's what nobody's talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Everyone else is talking about all the external stuff. I want to help you with all the internal stuff because I know that then everything else is going to open up and shift for you in ways that you can't even imagine. Stephanie, are you going to be on the call, I hope? Trevor, Amy, I know you're going to be on the call. I hope everyone else will be on the call. It's going to rock. And then you also get to, you register, you get to download this amazing infographic, which is my 25 do's and don'ts. Many years of experience, and what I found too is having been very, very successful in corporate, in sales, that these are not the same 25 do's and don'ts I would have had in corporate. Very, very different. One of them, I say, don't hold the conversation in a restaurant, coffee shop, places like that, which is exactly what we used to do in corporate. We always had meetings out in public. So you're going to find if you did sales before, and I've worked with a lot of you who have been very frustrated because you were successful in sales, but when it comes to having your own business, it's totally different to sell someone else's widget. So let me know. I'd love for you to download it if you want laminate like I did it. These are really, really critical keys. And a lot of these things you'll find are tweaks, just things to do, differently, just to help you get better results. Because when you think about it, the more you're able to shift and show up in a bigger way, everybody else will be able to show up in a bigger way. And man, can you believe the power? So this is my mission. This is what I'm doing. And I would just want to invite all of you to join me on this. Come to this party. It's going to be awesome. So does anyone have any other, oops, I just want to check. I think I just lost this. I'm looking at Facebook to see are there any other questions or anything I can help anybody with before everybody rock and rolls for the weekend. And again, register at effortlessenrollmentsecrets.com. So I'm just taking a real quick look and have a sip of my tea from my Costa Rica mug. I actually just did a retreat there back in January. Took some clients there, had amazing breakthroughs. So I'm just looking. I don't think I see anybody else having any questions. Everybody else is good. And I just want to again thank you for being here. Last minute live stream, as many of them are. Stephanie put you'll try. Stephanie, I'd love to have you there. Stephanie, this is for you. I'm pulling you to Boston. Come to Boston. someday we're going to get you here. Anyways, I appreciate all of you being here and be on the lookout. I'm periodically doing different Facebook Lives, just sharing more and more about successful sales conversations. I want you guys to master them because this is the thing everybody's avoiding, and this is the thing that's going to make you all the money. So let's start to shift all that, because the way the laws of attraction work is that if you're avoiding something, you're repelling it, and if you're repelling that, you're not going to attract money, right? It's like you're saying stop. Saying stop to the universe. This scares me. I don't want it. And I want to start shifting that. So instead you say, come on, give it to me. I'm ready for it. I can handle it. I'm ready and waiting. So anyways, yeah. Oh, good. She registered. Stephanie got her PDF. Yeah, isn't it cool? And a question, how many consultations should you do weekly? So I would say quality, and actually I'm going to talk about this in the webinar. But basically, you want to have a consistent. What I'm going to give you is, I'm not going to give you a number because I don't know where you are in your business right now, but I am going to give you what I believe is the best answer for you is that you want to create a routine. And this is for anybody listening. So whether you do 10 minutes a day, whether once a week you do an hour of calls a day, you want to create a routine that you're regularly doing calls. Because one thing I like to teach my clients is that you're always planting seeds. So you continually want to be doing this. And where most entrepreneurs don't is when they get busy, they stop making these calls and they go, oh no, I don't have any conversations. So if I always tell my clients, if I can get you to continuously be focused and always have this routine that every week, whether it's daily or once a week or however you do it, that you're always having calls, then you'll always have a constant flow of clients coming in. Okay? So I think that's a great thing. Oh, okay. Good question. So Stephanie said, I don't get number 22. So this is for those of you who are, oh, and Stephanie, I'm going to be talking about this a lot more too, just so you know, in the webinar. So she asked about one of the questions, and it said, don't coach during the conversation. This is a big faux pas. So many people do. I used to do it in the beginning. Oh my gosh. So what this means is that we all, well, I won't say everybody, but I would say the majority of us, when we start our businesses, because we're really passionate and excited about it, right? We love what we're doing, whether you're a copywriter, photographer, social media person, a weight loss coach, nutritionist, videographer, you know, whatever the heck you are, business coach, whatever it is that you do, we're all excited about, right? And so we want as many people to be impacted by it. So what very often happens is that when you're having a sales conversation, is that the person comes to you with a problem, whatever their problem might be, whether they don't have enough money, whether they don't know how to get enough clients, whether they are trying to lose 20 pounds, whether they're a bad parent, if you're a parenting coach, whatever the heck it might be that you do. And so we as helpers want to coach them. We want to solve their problems, right? Because we are healers, we are helpers. The problem is, and this is for anybody out there listening who is a passionate entrepreneur, is that when you do that, you've solved their problems, they don't need you anymore. So Stephanie, I encourage you, I'm going to tell you what you should be doing. It's all in Effortless Enrollment Secrets. It's a free training, but I teach you what to say, because if you've solved their problems, here's the deal, they don't need you anymore. They don't need you, because you just solved it. You just told them exactly what they needed to do. And hence, unless you're very skilled at the conversation with them, which most people aren't, because most people have been resisting sales conversations for years, so it's not like you all of a sudden start cooking a gourmet meal your first time in the kitchen. You end up just having the person say, thanks, this was awesome, you're amazing, you're the best, love you, I'm going to tell everyone about you, and they're gone, right? And I don't want that to happen to you. I want them to love you, I want them to tell their friends about you, but I don't want them to give you the credit card. So, otherwise you don't have money. So, anyways, so I want to wish everybody a really wonderful rest of the evening, week. Please join me on Effortless Enrollment Secrets. I'm going to be diving into all this and so much more. And like I said, live Q&A at the end. The call will be live. The training will be live. It's effortlessenrollmentsecrets.com. When you register, you will get your lovely infographic that I created, which now I'm going, geez, I should have sold. It's pretty amazing. It's got a lot of really great tips on here and strategies that took me over 6 years to put together, things I do really well that make a client absolutely say yes, and things that have totally bombed that I used to do or I've seen my clients do that bombed. So anyways, effortlessenrollmentsecrets.com. So everybody have a great weekend. Oh, you are so welcome. Saying to those of you who said thank you, you are so welcome. And please share this with the community, like it, heart, do the hearts, all that kind of stuff. I will see everybody on Tuesday's call. Bye now. Have a great weekend.